Starting this morning with the latest on the coronavirus all over the news and the newspapers this morning. This is a rapidly evolving situation, obviously. News overnight confirmed that 14 people in the UK have now been tested for this deadly virus. 5 of those have tested negative. The other 9 are still waiting for the results. Well, this is an amazing aspect to all of this, because we're going to go live now by satellite to China, where expat Michael Pattison joins us now. There he is. And Michael, if I understand it correctly, you are confined to home. You're confined to quarters.
Well, good morning, Eamonn. Good morning, Ruth. Not exactly confined, but the advice is to stay at home, stay indoors, avoid crowded public places. But no one's saying that you can't go outside. The advice is, if you do have to go outside, wear a mask. A normal surgical mask. And the thing that strikes me this morning about life in Wuhan is the normalcy of everything. There's moderate traffic on the roads. It is, of course, Chinese New Year's Eve. And at this time of the year, you'd expect a city like Wuhan to have emptied as people have travelled home to their hometowns in the countryside and small towns. So there's a sense of normalcy in society, and certainly in the part of Wuhan where I'm living, which is perhaps a slightly more privileged, leafy suburb in the south of the city. But all the information that I'm having from colleagues and fellow expats is all is well so far.
Yeah, but now, I'm sure you're not going out of your way to mix with other people. You are wearing your mask. You probably scrub very thoroughly. You're avoiding shaking hands, that sort of thing.
Well, absolutely. But that's just normal kind of precautions you take if there was an outbreak of influenza anywhere. So, yes. We don't feel unduly constrained by it.
Right. What are you doing in Wuhan, if you don't mind me asking?
Sure. Well, I've lived and worked in Wuhan for 15 years as a university lecturer. I've been teaching in one of China's top 10 universities, teaching a range of British, English-related subjects, such as public speaking, debating, British history, British culture, and academic writing.
Very good. It's good there are people like you, but there's an example of things that would be affected. The classroom.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. Of course, it's vacation time. Everybody's gone home. The spring festival, the winter holiday, is usually about a 2-week duration holiday. And that's the reason that the town, the city and the university is empty. Everybody has gone home already. And there's the rub, because with the break, with cutting the transport links, no one really knows for sure when they're going to be able to come back.
Well, Michael, we've got a professor here who we're going to talk to about the medicine involved in all of this. Just a quick one. We're hearing rumours. I don't know what you have heard there as well. Have you heard that this maybe have been caused by people eating bats, wild bats and snakes?
They don't know the official cause of it, but it certainly seems that the outbreak originated in a wet fish and seafood market in the north of Wuhan.
Well, Michael, thank you very much indeed, and we hope you stay well. Professor Paul Hunter, as we said, is in our studio, who is a specialist in infectious diseases. You were nodding your head there, Professor Hunter, when Michael was talking about this market with snakes and bats, and do you think that's where this has originated?
Well, certainly virtually all of the earliest cases had contact with this particular wet fish market, it was called, but it sells more than fish. It sells birds, it sells all sorts of animals. And I think it's a very reasonable suggestion that the infection actually spread into humans from one of the animals on sale, one of the types of animals on sale.
So that is not unusual, that it jumps from an animal to
No. In fact, the SARS outbreak almost 20 years ago, which was a very similar strain of coronavirus, was actually also associated with markets, and probably bushmeat, so meat that was brought in from other countries that had been captured
There's
in
going to be
forests.
hundreds of thousands of people like me. You probably haven't missed there. I've got a bit of a cough.
No, we're all going.
And whatever. How would you not be worried that I had coronavirus?
No. I mean, you haven't been to Wuhan. So far, there hasn't been a single case demonstrated where the virus has spread from one person to another outside of China. And typically, when we look at SARS, one of the big drivers of SARS 20 years ago was spread within hospitals with cases. And one of the big things about our safety in the UK is that we have got facilities in place and procedures in place to deal with these types of patients.
Because there are 14 people in the UK who've been hospitalised, who've been checked for this. We've said 5 have tested negative so far, but there's another 9 waiting for results. But you're saying that those hospitals will be well equipped to cope if one of them does have the coronavirus.
Yes. I mean, we know from we had I think 4 SARS patients arrived in Britain 20 years ago, and since then we've had a number of patients with Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome, which is also another similar virus. And as far as I'm aware, there hasn't been any person-to-person transmission for either of those in the UK.
At the moment, we are in cough, cold and flu season.
Absolutely.
Anyway, you look at people in the Far East, and a lot of people, but even before this outbreak, wear those masks, right? Would that not be good practice for us to wear in this country?
I think the evidence on the value of face masks in hospitals is very strong, and that wearing masks in hospitals is highly protective.
For patients and staff, or just...?
For staff.
Yeah,
staff. The evidence in staff is better, provided particularly it's associated with hand washing and wearing appropriate protective clothes. The evidence in the community is much less strong. That doesn't mean to say that it's not going to be effective wearing masks, but I think you've got to be aware of a number of things. First is it depends on the type of mask. Any old mask isn't going to actually protect you, even if you're exposed. Proper surgical masks almost certainly will. But you've got to wear them at appropriate times. In some studies that have looked at wearing masks for influenza in family contacts, generally they've not been that protected unless people have started using them very, very, very early.
But what about an incubation period? Because sometimes you might not... I mean, can you be contagious but not have the symptoms? So they're saying they're going to be screening at airports, but surely if there's an incubation period, you might go through a screening without a temperature, be absolutely fine, and have the symptoms 2 days later.
I mean, I think that I think we all agree that screening at airports isn't actually likely to detect cases because people may be coming in during the incubation period, they may be taking paracetamol to reduce fever, so they might actually easily get through. The value of airport screening is that actually it's an opportunity to give people advice about what to do if they subsequently get ill. And that is to go to their doctor and tell people your travel history.
Professor, thanks for your advice. Thank you very much indeed. Normally at this stage I'd shake hands and say goodbye to you, but I think we'll not. I think we'll give it a miss today. I think we'll do that.